Greetings from Washington, D.C., and welcome back to Chronic University, the Chronic Disease Coalition's special phone-ready videos about how you can be active in your community. Last session, we talked about how to talk to lawmakers in meetings and in town halls about your patient story. In this one, we're going to talk to some ambassadors about some other ways that they engage with individuals, with groups, with the public, and with social media. Listen, we know that not everybody has an infinite amount of energy. Nobody does. But by being thoughtful and intentional about how and where you tell your story, you can be even more effective in leveling the playing field for all chronic disease patients. I am so excited to introduce CJ Walker to you. She's one of our great advocates from Virginia. And as a diabetes patient, she's engaged with lots of different online groups to find the support and advice that she needs.
In 2019, when I was first diagnosed with diabetes, I felt overwhelmed. I was given medication and brief instructions on how to manage my blood sugar levels. I joined some online diabetes groups on Facebook that focused on eating healthier to keep my blood sugar levels in range. While that helped, I still felt isolated, even though I had family support and family members with the condition. It wasn't until I searched for local support groups that I found a diabetes sister support group here. Because of my hectic schedule, it took almost a year for me to attend my first diabetes sisters meeting. But I knew right then I had found my people, and this is where I should be. 4 years later, I'm now facilitating a virtual diabetes sisters group and co-hosting another. I rediscovered my love for writing and discovered a love for teaching through this group. This group gives me the opportunity to do both. I learned how to advocate through this group, and that was a huge factor that helped me advocate for myself to get a second medical opinion, which led me to being correctly diagnosed with my current condition. There are no words to describe how much this support group has changed my life. It's important to understand that there is no such thing as a perfect community. It's inevitable that community admins and moderators will make mistakes. Occasionally, members will disagree with one another. That's just part of being human. I've learned the hard way that some online health communities are unhealthy. When joining an online health community, beware of admins and moderators who provide health advice without encouraging you to seek medical advice. I often share my stories on my advocacy page as well as medical and patient organizations. Through writing, I'm able to express and explain feelings and concepts that would otherwise be difficult for me to express verbally. There are several websites where you can read patient experiences, including Healthline, Bezi, Social Health Network, and websites for specific health conditions. Along with being a patient advocate, I'm a wife, a homeschooling mom of 3, and a small business owner, so I lead a very busy life. The activities and events I take on must be carefully considered. My health and my family are my top priorities. I don't take on projects that could cause my family and me emotional or mental, physical stress. For instance, I don't travel outside my community for advocacy. When it comes to advocacy, I choose initiatives that allows me to be flexible while allowing me to use my skills. You don't have to always wear the cape. You don't have to be available all the time. Set clear boundaries and don't take on more projects you can handle. Don't be afraid to step back or let go when burned out. It's okay to take a break from advocating. Advocacy is ongoing. The work will still be there when you return.
Great. Thank you, CJ, so much for that insight. As CJ says, it's okay to research a group, make sure something fits and feels good. And if it doesn't align with your values, your medical needs, just your comfort level, it's okay to leave a group because you're just going to make time and space for something that feels better and aligns better with the work that you're trying to do in the world. Now I'm really excited to introduce you to Anna Williams. Anna also tried a lot of different groups, and now she's a moderator for a migraine-focused Facebook group.
My patient advocacy journey began in a migraine group. I had started a new to market medication, and so I joined to learn more about people's experiences. This was a well-moderated group, which was different than what I'd experienced in the past. And when the admin asked for some moderation help, I jumped in because I wanted to learn more. I wanted to get more access to more information for myself, but then also I began to help other people. And for me, that was really where the magic was. Being able to have resources to help people connect to the information that they needed, just like had happened for me. I pull resources, I connect people to information, and it's been a really great experience watching the group grow, but also be more well-informed and have those better conversations with their doctors. So a heavily moderated group where there are rules and the rules are enforced. Also being able to find if something is science-based. I have this repertoire of organizations that I know have medical boards vetting their information, and I want the people in the groups that I'm associated with having access to that type of information. Keeping a group strictly peer-to-peer is really important. And what I mean by that is I can share my experience as a peer and say what works for me. And I say it that way. This works for me. It may not work for you. And it probably won't work for you. Like, we all need our different combinations. So as an admin and as a person who helps have these conversations with people who experience various diseases, there is nothing that makes me happier than to see someone support someone else where I don't even have to do it. I can just come by and click like or heart their answer because it was perfect. As I learned more, I was better able to frame things so that I wasn't giving medical advice. I was telling them what worked for me and giving them the caveat it may not work for them, but it would be something else they could talk to their doctor about, because the more options you have, the more hope you have. So sharing your story is super important because you're giving someone hope that they're not alone. When you tell your story, you're taking your piece and you're turning it over. As you listen to other people's stories, and as people listen to your story, you start connecting those pieces. And as we do this as a group, we are creating a puzzle that you can start understanding what the picture is. And again, it's all about the story. Whatever way people can hear your story is a great way to tell your story.
Thank you, Anna. A lot of the support that people need in the groups that they engage on are on Facebook, but that is not the only platform. Ambassador Dustin Miller is here to talk about how far platforms have gone in terms of being more safe space for patients of all ages. He was diagnosed when he was a child, and there wasn't a lot of support for his family. And now that he's older with the disease, he's found groups that he can connect with on Discord. A lot of this is about having the patience to find the groups that you need, to find the support that you need.
I have moderated a couple of support groups. One was through a meetup group I created with another meetup creator. In those sessions, I would sort of set the stage by asking everyone to share a bit about themselves and their experience with chronic illness. The thing that I find challenging with creating and running support groups is that it can be intimidating for someone to be vulnerable in a group of strangers like that. And so I find that as a moderator, if you can help guide the conversation between group members, that can help create conversation amongst the group. When starting in advocacy, I find the best way to get involved is by talking to others you know that are already a part of an advocacy group. There's a lot of different organizations out there. You want to decide what type of advocate you want to be. There's a lot of different ways to advocate, from speaking about your story, joining fundraisers, writing to legislators, becoming a mentor, things like that. Most advocacy groups have their own website, so you can go there and check out the group's mission statement, events, and other advocacy programs. Typically, advocacy groups will have a contact form of some kind or a newsletter sign up. This is a good way to stay up to date with what the group is doing and decide what you yourself would like to do. I've found a few different Discord groups that I'm a part of. One specifically is for chronic disease gamers, and the admin moderator for that Discord group is really good at making sure everyone in the group feels comfortable in the same way you would as a support group. Most mental health professionals I have spoken to over the years generally work to support healthy behaviors for their patients. I have had a couple of psychologists that have suggested advocacy in different ways. In general, I think it is important for all health professionals in general to make patients aware of support group opportunities. When I was younger and going through kidney failure, I think it would have been very helpful to know that there were groups out there that know what I'm going through. So there are some great resources out there for chronic disease news and information. Currently, I'm a member of Chronic Disease Coalition, NEFCure, National Kidney Foundation, Autoimmune Association, All of Us Research Group, and the American Association of Kidney Patients. I get newsletters from all of them in my email, and I follow them on Facebook as well. Threads by Meta has kind of blown up recently with the chronic disease community. Some have coined it the chronic disease threads. As with most social media, you definitely want to be cautious with what you read and interact with. That being said, there are many wonderful chronic disease advocates across different social media platforms that are very inspirational and informative. Again, it comes down to researching and finding kind of information you are looking for.
Dustin's story reminds us of how far online communities have come and how they continue to evolve to meet the needs of the chronic disease community. So whether you're just there to listen and learn, or whether you're there to moderate and contribute, there is a place for you in an online community. Telling your story in a chronic disease community, whether it's on Discord or Facebook or in person, is going to help you get better at telling your story to lawmakers and other influencers who can help level the playing field for all chronic disease patients. It can also help you connect with other groups that you can advocate with in a crowd. This is where our strength really is. It's in vulnerability, it's in the power of storytelling, and it's in community. We really appreciate that you have joined the Chronic University community and the Chronic Disease Coalition to learn about how to raise your voice on your behalf and on behalf of other patients. We look forward to having you back in a couple of weeks when we talk about what our advocacy agenda is for 2025. In the meantime, we hope that you follow the Chronic Disease Coalition on our social media, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter, and find out more by going to our website. We hope that you find a group that helps you feel supported and that you tell your story in those communities to lawmakers on blogs, on social media, so that more people can understand the Chronic Disease Church.